Hello friends, today we are going to discuss one-dimensional array. Under this heading, we will see what is the definition of one-dimensional array, then how one-dimensional array is declared, accessing array elements, then how elements of one-dimensional array is initialized, and some example programs. One-dimensional array. An array of one dimension is known as one-dimensional array, or in short, it is written as a 1D array. It has one subscript or index number that is needed to specify a particular element of an array. Conceptually, it can be thought of as a row where elements are stored one after another. This picture shows one-dimensional array. 18, 23, 17 up to 19 are elements of array, whereas 0, 1, 2 up to 9 are indices of array elements. Array declaration. How array is declared? Its syntax is like this one. Data type, array element, then we mention size of the array at the end, semicolon. Data type, it denotes the type of elements in the array. Array name, name of the array, it must be a valid identifier. Size, number of elements an array can hold. For example, int num5 semicolon. Num is an array of type int, which can only store 5 elements of the type int. Float temp20. Temp is an array of type float, which can only store 20 elements of the type float. Char ch50. Ch is an array of type char, which can only store 50 elements of the type char. Rules for declaring one-dimensional array. An array variable must be declared before being used in the program. The declaration must have a data type that may be int, float, char, double, etc. Then variable name and subscript. The subscript represents the size of the array. If the size is declared as a 10, programmer can store 10 elements. And array index always starts from 0. For example, if an array variable is declared as a S10, then it ranges from 0 to 9. Each array element is stored in a separate memory location. Accessing array elements. An element is accessed by indexing the array name. Array name, then index number. Let's shown below is pictorial representation of array elements and their subscripts or index number for an array int n10. So this is an integer type of an array, that is, this array n can store 10 integer data. So each data has index number from 0 to 9. Array index starts from the 0. To access first element of n, n0 is used, that is n0. To access fifth element of n, index 4 is used, that is n4. Nth element of n can be manipulated by using n minus 1. where n is greater than 0. In general, an array of the size n will have elements from index 0 to n minus 1. Using index, desired element can directly be accessed. Initialization of one-dimensional array. Array can be initialized in the following ways. Initialization and declaration. While declaring the array, we can initialize their elements. Initialization by assignment and runtime initialization. So in these three ways we can initialize. Means we can set initial values of each of the elements. Initialization and declaration. So syntax for initialization and declaration is like this one. Data type, array name within square bracket, size of array. So this is array declaration before assignment operator. Then after assignment operator, we write the element values and these values are separated by commas and enclosed within the quotation marks, and at the end we write the semicolon. For example, int is in square bracket 4. So using this one we declare the integer variable age that can store 4 integer values, and on the right side within the curly braces we write 2 comma 4 comma 7 comma 3 and at the last semicolon. So writing these values on the right side of the array declaration, we set each values of array age. That is, first value age 0 is 2, age 1 is 4, age 2 is 7 and age 3 is 3. Now this is another way. That is, here if we are explicitly write each element of the array, then there is no need of declaring the size of an array here. This is optional. Also in this declaration also, as we are putting explicitly each element values, we are not writing the size of the array. So this is character type array. So each character on the right hand side here we see that included in a single quotation marks, and last character is always going to be a null character. If we have to store the strings here is included into the double quotation marks. So using these two, that is character array on the right side in double quotation mark code, or before this one, each characters are written separately, but these characters are included in the double quotation marks. Initialization by assignment. Example, int is 4 semicolon. So using this statement we declare integer array age, and this array age can store 4 integer values. Using next 4 statements we initialize each value of the integer age, that is array age. Age 0 represent the first value, first element of the array age, and it is initialized to 24. Second value is initialized to 25 and last value to 27. So in this way, using assignment operator, we can set each element value of an array. Example 2. Here in this example we are declaring a character array, and again this character array can store four character value. So these four character values are S, R, D and /0, that is null character. So always last character in character array declaration is always going to be a null character. Example 3. In this one we declare using the first statement a character array, and here we do not mention the size, as while initializing all the strings that is stored by the character array are written, are given, all the values of the elements are given, so no need to initialize their size. Runtime initializing. This approach is usually applied for initializing large arrays, and for that one we use the looping statement. So in this looping statement for loop is used, and using this for loop we initialize 100 values of an element, whereas initial 50 values from 0 to 49 is initialized to 0.0, and from 49 to 99 it is initialized to 1.0. Read functions such as scanf can also be used to initialize an array, like this one. So int x3 semicolon, we using this statement we declare integer array x that can store the three integer values. Next statement reads the three integer values and is stored to the corresponding array element, that is ampersand x0. First this store x0 is the first element, this is the second element, this is the third element. So three integer values can be stored with x0, x1 and x2. The values entered through the keyboard. We are familiar with this one. Now let us see an example. Declaration, assignment and accessing elements of an array. So a program can be written like this one. In every C program we write hash include less than and within less than and greater than sign stdio.h. This hidden file is included because this hidden file has library function defined and declared in this file that we use in our programs. Then main open and close parenthesis, and within open and close brace we write the code. In this code first statement is int n10, and this statement is to declare integer array n that can store the 10 values. Then next statement declares two integer variables. These two integer variables are used for counter variable that are needed to in the looping statement. So here for looping statement is used. So for I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. We store 10 integer values. And what are their initial values? Let us see. Set elements at location I to I plus 100. that is 0 to 0 plus 100. Each element is initialized to 100 to 109. So n I equal to I plus 100. What is meaning of this statement? Because in the beginning, when initial value is 0, condition is true, that is n less than 0 is less than 10, condition is true. So this body of the for loop is used to initialize the first value, because n in a square bracket it is the 0. So n0 is the first array value, and this is set as a I plus 100, that is 0 plus 100, that is 100. So first value of an integer array n is set as a 100. Then where counter variable I is incremented and its value becomes 1. Condition is tested, 1 less than 10, condition is true. Then again body of the for loop is executed. So this time n in square bracket 1, that refers to the second value of the integer array n, and this is set as a 1 plus 100, that is 101. So second value is set as a 101. So in this way, this looping statement goes on initializing each element from 100 to 109, and after 109, when value of I becomes 10, condition becomes false, so control comes out of the for loop, and out of the for loop again there is a for loop. This for loop is for printing the each element value of an array n. So again in a similar way, initial value is set as a 0, because index number always starts from the 0. So j is equal to 0. J less than 10 condition is true. So body of the for loop is executed. In the body of the for loop, print elements in square bracket percentage d is written. Percentage d, whenever these control strings come, compiler searches for the variable value, that is 0. So element 0 equals, again percentage d is there. So again compiler goes for the second variable value n0. So this is the first element of the array n that is printed at this point. And after printing the first element of the array n, there is a slash n. So this escape sequence character brings the cursor in the beginning of the next row, and after that one value of j is incremented, again condition is tested, again it is found that second time also condition is true, so second value of the element of array n is printed. So in this way, this for looping statement prints all the array elements from 100 to 109, and then when value of j is incremented, condition becomes false and controls comes out of the for loop. Then next statement is return 0. This statement tells operating system that program is executed properly. So here we get the output like this one. So element 0 is 100, element 9, that is 10th element, is 109. Now let us take the second example. In this second example of an array, C program to find some marks of n students using arrays. So n students, so n may be 10, n may be 20, n may be 50. So using array, we have to store the marks of the 50 students. Here it is n students. Then we have to find the sum of their marks. So an example program may be written like this one. So in example program here, int marks 10 comma I comma n comma sum equal to 0 semicolon. So using this statement, we declare integer type of array marks. These marks can store 10 values, and these are the integer values. Simultaneously, we declare the three simple variables I, n, and sum. And sum is initialized to a value of 0 because initial sum should always be going to be 0. The next statement, print enter number of student colon. So this is a message that is printed on the output screen, and following this message we enter the data. So here enter number of students, how many marks of how many students we want to enter, that number is to be entered here. So and that number is taken by the scanf function and is stored with the variable n. Then using the for looping statement, here I equal to 0, initial value of I, that is counter variable, is set as a 0. I less than 10, sorry, I less than n. So this n should always be going to be 10 because we can store only the 10 integer values. So whatever its value, maybe 2, 3, 4 up to 10. Printf enter marks of the students percentage d, I plus 1. So here 1 is printed. Enter marks of the student 1. That is first student. And when we enter the marks, that is taken in and stored with as a marks I, that is 0. And marks 0 is the first element of an array marks. So that is stored with the first element. Then sum plus equal, shorthand operator plus equal marks I. That is what is the entered marks that is stored, is taken in and added to the previous sum. So sum plus equal meaning that sum equals sum plus marks I. Marks I here initially is equal to 0, marks 0, that is the first marks, and initial value of sum is 0. So 0 plus marks of the first student gets added and that marks is stored on the right side variable sum. Then value of I is incremented and this value becomes 1. So if 1 is less than n is true, again body of the for loop is executed and second marks of second students is taken in, that is, and also that is stored with the initial sum. So in this way, what is the value of n, depending on that marks of those much students are taken in and their sum is also found out. And when condition becomes false, that is, suppose here I is 10, 10 is less than 10, that is false, control comes out of the for loop and out of the for loop here print if sum equal to percentage d, what is the value of sum, that gets printed here, and then return 0. This tells operating system that everything is done properly, and it's when this program is run, its output is like this one. Enter number of students. First we enter the n as a 3. So we have to add the 3 numbers of 3 students. So using for loop, 3 marks are entered and stored as a enter marks of the students 1, that is 12, enter marks of the student 2, that is 31, and enter marks of the student 3, that is 2, and their sum is found and that is displayed as a 45. In example 3, we have to find the highest of an array element. So if we declare an array and their values are stored, in that values we have to find the what is the highest value stored by the array. A program can be written like this one. So in this program, here in the first statement we declare an integer variable I and integer variable I and greatest and integer array A. Then print enter 10 values. This is the message on the that is printed on the output screen. And then we enter the 10 values, and those 10 values are taken in and using the for looping statement and taken in and stored with the stored with array A. Then after storing, here we write the greatest equal to A0. We have to find the greatest value. So initially we assume that A0 first element is the greatest. Then we compare this first element with the second element. If second element is greater than the first element, then greatest value is set as the second element. If not, this value is compared with the third value. So in this way, we go on comparing the each value of the array elements, and whenever it is found that that next value is the greater than the first value, that value is set as the greatest value. So here we assume greatest equal to A0. First element value is the greatest value. So for I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. We write the looping statement because we have to compare first element with each element of the array. So if AI is greater than the greatest, if AI, that is A0, the first value is greater than the greatest is this element and it is assigned to the first value. Then greatest is equal to AI. So first value is always going to be we have assumed that the greatest value. Then value of I is incremented. This becomes the 1. 1 is less than 10. Value is true. Condition is true. Again, while executing the body of the for loop, if A1 represents the second value. So if second value is greater than the greatest, so second value is compared with the first value. So if this condition is true, then greatest value is set as A1. Otherwise, this is the left out. If condition is not true, that is if second value is not greater than the greatest value, then it is skipped off. Then value of I is incremented. So in this way, comparison goes on till last element value. And whenever it is found that a particular element is the greater than the first element, then that value is set as the greatest value. And when condition all the elements are tested and compared, then control comes out of the for looping statement. And here using the for looping out of the for, that is printf statement, using the printf statement, greatest of 10 number is %d. At this point greatest value is printed and get CS. Thus this statement brings the output screen in front of you where you see the result, and return statement is always written to indicate that program is run properly. And whenever we see run the program, first we see the output like this one, enter 10 values, and if we enter these values like this one, in this one greatest value is going to be 8. So greatest of 10 numbers is 8. This is printed. So in this way, in this lecture we discuss what is one dimensional array, what is syntax of one dimensional array, then how each element of the one dimensional array is referred and initialized, and some example program. Hope you might have understood what is one dimensional array, syntax of the one dimensional array, initialization of the one dimensional array, and also some example program. With this we end this lecture. Till next lecture, bye and have a nice day.